I'm Miguel Sarabia. I'm a PhD student at the Personal Robotics Lab. And what I do is to help people, in particular children with disabilities. What I want to do is to have robots that can understand the user and act accordingly.
My name is Gabriele Trovato. I'm visiting researcher in Imperial College. I'm studying human-robot interaction.
I'm Maxime Petit, I'm French, and I'm a research associate working on a European project called WeSeeWith. And my research focuses on robot and human interaction in a natural way, especially through language.
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Literally. So I don't know where the future of robotics is going. It is a very difficult question. I don't think anyone has figured it out. I think what we do here is what is called assisted robotics mainly. So how can robots help you in your daily life? Now there are many limitations with real robots that limit the amount of things that you can do. So for example, right now it is almost impossible to have physical interaction with a robot because either the robot can hurt the human can hurt the robot. It's really difficult to have. Now this will come eventually. There's lots of research in the world going through here. There's not something that we're going to see, I would say, in the next 10 years. I think that the things that we're going to see very, very soon are autonomous robots, autonomous cars. Those are essentially robots, and they're coming soon.
Well, this will take some time, but robotics will spread into the societies. And actually, I think that it will spread in different ways depending on the country and the society. So we will see a diversification of robots, and probably there will be more employment in countries like Japan and Korea.
So it's the wheelchair is simple. It's just a wheelchair. So you have essentially a joystick, and then you drive the motors, and it moves. With these things, we can do things like maps of the environment. We can drive the wheelchair by itself if necessary. People don't like the wheelchair driving by itself because most people want to be in control. So what we tend to do in this lab is what we call shared control, which is we let the user control the wheelchair most of the time, but when he or she is in difficulty, or when there is a dangerous situation, what we consider a dangerous situation, then the robot takes over and does something else. Then there's Now, which is a small humanoid. It's got 21 degrees of freedom. This is robotic parlance for joint. So basically it allows you to move into 21 different forms. And this is a very cute robot. It was designed to be cute, and children love it. We had open days at Imperial, and they just go crazy for it. So the idea is use this robot, since children already like it, to explain what the wheelchair is doing, and perhaps what I was saying at the beginning, teach how the wheelchair works to children, because it's much the wheelchair is a very nice robot, but it's not something that you relate to because it's a wheelchair, right?
Right now I'm working on a robot called iCub, but it's not there, developing IT, small humanoid one. But I also try to do some other research with the Baxter, for instance, and for the Now. We try to make them smart and raise a little bit like a child. The idea is not to provide a robot that already knows a lot of things, but provide a robot that can learn depending on the personal problem and final user. So we provide the robot, and the user will teach the robot what they need to be done.
Sure, it's very easy. A robot has to, the definition of robot is three things. It's really simple. It needs to sense the environment, it needs to think or model or reason about the environment somehow, and it needs to act on the environment. And artificial intelligence, the only thing that it does is the reasoning part. Right? The key part of the robots is that they are in the real world, so they sense and they act on the real world. If you don't have either of those, then I don't call that a robot. Anything that can do these things, sort of, it senses, it thinks about what is just shown, and then it acts accordingly, that is a robot.
Robotics is a field where inside you have and you need some artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is about reasoning, planning, and it doesn't necessarily involve some body that you have in robotics. So that's what we call embodiment. And we think that in order for a robot to be able to have some cognition and to be able to have some intelligence, it needs also to act. That's why we use artificial intelligence and we put that into a body.
Everyone, see, this is the thing that everyone that doesn't know what robotics asks you for. If you saw the sort of challenges that we've got in robotics, like we have robots that you tell them, you know, you have right arm, you have it here, move it backwards, behind you, right? You know what the robot does sometimes? It decides, oh, the fastest way is going through my chest. So then it goes, and then it breaks the arm and possibly the chest in the way. We have problems with battery life. We have problems with, you know, understanding. It turns out that the human world, this is something that you only appreciate when you start studying robotics. Our world, our real world, is really unpredictable. There are lots of things, our brains just give lots of things for granted. Robots are not there. We cannot deal with this amount of uncertainty. Right now, robots work relatively well in controlled scenarios like a lab, because we know more or less what's going to happen. But have something on the real world that, you know, okay, I don't know what's going to happen and I still can react reasonably to those inputs, that doesn't happen. So in that sense, no, they're not. Like, I don't see robots ever taking over the world. It's just not going to happen.
Not anytime soon.
But you think it will happen, right?
I'm doing my best.
Yeah, that's always some question. No, I don't think so, because robots are not here to replace human at first. They're here to complete human, like your computer. Now you have computers everywhere. Some of them also are intelligent. You have program in order to run subways, to run cars, or to do some like market stock exchange analysis. And you just don't see them. They're here, but they don't, you know, try to invade your space.
Only one meal
One meal for breakfast.
for the rest of your life.
If only one thing, maybe biscuits. I really like biscuits.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very good biscuit. I think I can eat a lot of those.
What would it be?
Cornetto and cappuccino. I'm Italian.
Really?
I'm a French guy, so it will hurt, but I will say that I really love to have English breakfast.